Yes, people, what's going on? Welcome to United View. Happy Monday. It's the new beginnings. It's a new week. But it's the same old Manchester United where there is more and more and more rumours coming about, more and more reports coming about what's going on with the manager, the coach and staff, who we're buying, who we're selling, and all of that stuff in between. Big up to everyone in the chat. Who have we got in the chat? Let's have a look. I see Joe Blackman is like, it's not even always on purpose, but I think it's maybe because he has his name sort of like in capitals as well sometimes, or when he puts the likes and stuff. There you go. Look, hi everyone. If you're here waiting with me, let's show the channel some love and drop a like. He's always in capitals, so Joe Blackman just always sticks out. Big up Joe Blackman. Who else have we got?
By the way, Amonor's furious.
Where?
I swear I am going to go ape shit at Flex for being late. Honestly.
Oh yeah, Flex for being late. Honestly,
my goodness,
Amonor, don't worry. Just chill. Amonor, we're just getting things ready for you, so it's a good show. Everything's in order. It's been a long weekend, you know. People have been, it's busy. Everyone's just coming back into their Monday.
It's too early in the day and the week to be getting that kind of rage, Amonor. It's all right, man.
Amonor cool. Is vexed.
I'm gonna do ape shit.
No.
Honestly.
I know. But everybody else seems to be happy as well, though. John J says, big up Flex and big up Owen. Who else we got? Morning, guys, says Harold Van Dyke. And treat the like button like your spot. Treat the like button like your spa partner, though. Hit the button. I will say that. They're back up to Amonor again. So yes, big up to everyone involved. Get involved in the chat. There's 142 likes already. Over 500 of you watching already as well. So big up to everyone getting involved and ready to start the show. What have we got coming up? The staff shake up, man. So Jim ain't playing. You know what I mean? There's more changes that keep arising. There's more changes we keep hearing about. Obviously, the Ruud van Nistelrooy stuff. We're going to get a bit more into that as well and talk about how he could shake up the coaching staff and how Ineos in general are planning on doing that. We've also got Jonathan David interest as well. We want to see what's going on there. I mean, Jonathan David was someone we've been linked to for a hot minute as well. Like in like seasons gone by, you know, like those types of players that you get linked to and then you just don't hear anything, and then you do, and then you don't. You just think, is it a Wesley Sneijder vibe? Where we always just get Milinkovic-Savic was another one in modern times where it's like we always linked to him, never ever got him.
Yeah, well, I think the Jonathan David one, there might be legs in that one. He's probably moving this year because he's got 1 year left in his contract and all that kind of stuff. So looks like that one is going to happen. Not maybe necessarily to Manchester United. There are a lot of clubs interested in him. But first, a bit of a continuation of yesterday's story. I did the video yesterday. Be interesting to see what you think about this, Flex, regarding Ruud van Nistelrooy coming back to Manchester United. This one kind of came out of left field just a little bit, didn't it? Fabrizio Romano yesterday dropping an exclusive saying Ruud van Nistelrooy has been approached to be a part of Erik ten Hag's new staff at Manchester United. Now, again, this was quite surprising, actually, wasn't it? Because previously, the expectation was that Van Nistelrooy was going to become the Burnley manager. At least that was sort of the rumour and report last week. And he's just coming off a job season 4 last at PSV. So people going, is he going to go back into a coaching role? Is he going to stay as a manager? Well, according to Romano, he says it's up to Van Nistelrooy, as he's also a strong candidate to become the new Burnley manager, replacing Vincent Kompany, of course, Kompany now at Bayern Munich. And the decision is expected this week. And as Romano says, changes could take place in the Manchester United staff, which had been a bit of an underlying story, actually, to Erik ten Hag staying, hadn't it, Flex? With the sort of chatter that, of course, yes, Ineos, they did their review. They came to their conclusions. Erik ten Hag's going to be staying. Erik ten Hag's going to get a new contract. But there are conditions to Erik ten Hag staying. We've spoken about them, whether it's Erik ten Hag's job title may be changing from manager to head coach, recruitment, of course, not being fully taken away from Erik, but certainly a much more collaborative approach, shall we say. And in addition to that, maybe the thing that hadn't been spoken about as much was Ineos looking specifically for at least one, maybe more, of their sort of representation in the Manchester United coaching staff. An Ineos hired coach. There had been rumours about Benny McCarthy his contract being up, him possibly leaving. There had also been rumors and reports about maybe some players not seeing eye to eye with Mitchell van der Gaag, and a kind of, as KG would say, a bombastic side I look towards him. But Erik ten Hag, of course, has loyalty to his number 2. So this does line up with the report in that Eric's going to stay, but everything's not going to stay the same. There are going to be some changes. What do you make of this story?
Yeah, shake up. I mean, you sort of say, well, one side, okay, Ineos are, saying, oh, you got to stay, but sorry, you're going to stay, but you have to change this, this, and this. But then Ruud's like, obviously he's our legend, but he's also like, obviously because he's Dutch, and like it doesn't feel like it's someone like Erik ten Hag like is just so far removed from. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, there could just be a coincidence because that's the person that they've approached. It'd be interesting to see, or to know, should I say, like how this has come about. Is this Eric saying, well, okay, you're saying I've got to make changes. I suggest Ruud van Nistelrooy. I want you like out of the list. So did they say, right, well, you have to change this, this, and this. Give us sort of a list of people that you do sort of get on with or you do quite like, and we'll look at that. We'll go away with a list and we'll approach some of them. Or was it the Ineos side that said, well, I'll tell you what, Ruud's an up and coming. Yeah.
They've gone to, what do you think about Ruud van Nistelrooy? All right, cool.
Yeah. I just don't like because he's he's Dutch and he's an up and coming manager. He did well at PSV, left there and hasn't. Did he go somewhere else really short? No, he hasn't worked since PSV.
He's only done that. And he was only there for a year. And he won their cup there, finished second in the league, resigned because he said he didn't feel he was getting support. PSV later on this year went on to win the Eredivisie, whether that's because of the foundations he set or whether that's because he was actually doing a bad job and he should have won the Eredivisie. You never know of those things. But like you mentioned, he's certainly an in-demand coach, and
and that surprises me as well. That bit of like, because in demand, obviously he loves us, he loves Man United, we love Ruud. Our track record when we're trying to bring back in ex people who have been involved before or coach, we're sort of we under the Ollie one. It felt like it was sort of mates for the boys. But we say that, but look, Kieran McKenna's gone on to be a fantastic coach. Michael Carrick's doing a really good job at Middlesbrough. Ollie is just chilling at the minute, but especially those two that were on our coaching staff, where we're like, McKenna from the under-80s, Carrick, what's he done? They're actually turned out to be really good coaches. So you want us to get that right. Like, obviously, Ruud's was a sixth striker, amazing legend, love him. So you think, that'd be amazing, him coming back, being a striker coach. Oh man, learning off Ruud. But like, if he's like top money for the Burnley job to get them back into the Premier League after Vincent Kompany, decent little opportunity. So, and in general, like if he wants to go somewhere else and just continue to get back into it and be a number 1, basically, does he want to return and be a number 2? And does Erik ten Hag actually want to work with him, or is this Ineos saying, well, of him, he's Dutch, we're going to give you Ruud? I don't know.
I'd be surprised with the latter of that one. I think, obviously, look, whilst things are going to be changing for Erik ten Hag, I don't think they'd be putting people on his coaching staff that he doesn't approve of. What I mean? Could you imagine?
You start going down that channel,
in trouble. Yeah, exactly. But do you want to hear what has been a bit of a theory some people have been pointing out, and maybe it's part of the reason for Ruud taking the job? If he was to be quite clever, shall we say, and he was thinking about the opportunity, because you're right, he'd go, I was at PSV just not that long ago. I was the main guy there, and we finished second. I won a trophy, actually, as well. So I can get a pick of quite a few jobs. Do I really want to go from that to being, granted, on backroom staff of the biggest club in England, arguably the world? Do I want to go to that, or do I want to stay as a manager? But then he could think, well, look, Manchester United had a bad season last season. Yes, Eric is staying for now. But if it doesn't go well, they're going to need a caretaker. They're going to need an interim. And I think that I'd be one of the backroom staff members that wouldn't go. I'd stay for a little while. And some are looking at it as, and I doubt this would be explicitly said to Ruud van Nistelrooy, but as the Ineos failsafe to an extent of going, wow, if things do go badly, at least we've got a bit of a plan B for the rest of the season. We've got a bit of a a safe option we can go with whilst we figure things out. Now, I don't think that that's like what Ineos would say. I don't think that's. I think everyone would do this appointment with the hope of it all working out. Manchester United are totally successful, and they go on to win things.
Well,
but if you were going to be,
back of Ruud's mind, he's like,
but if you were going to be cynical about it, you might look at it and go, "Heck of an opportunity." You would, wouldn't you? It'd be natural.
So what do you reckon if when we're doing well and stuff, like, we're second in the league at like Christmas last year? Oh, bloody hell, they drop off.
You win either way. You win either way in the sense of, so if he goes there and Manchester United are super successful, then you get the Mikel Arteta kind of situation of, he was like an assistant coach. Look at this backroom staff. Get him in. He knows what he's doing, and then he gets a big job. If it doesn't go well, he'd likely take over in a caretaker interim capacity, and you never know how that one's going to go. So you really win either way, don't you? From that regard,
yeah, you got an opportunity. You're right. To be fair, you can't be that naive to not sort of maybe look down that path of, like, you think it's a bit like, a bit brutal, but it's like, well, no, that's just the game, isn't it? The game works like that. You have to seize opportunities further down the line, or think before you make a big decision like that, to sacrifice being the main man in a dugout somewhere else to be, albeit at Man United, a club you love so much, but the number two. You do have to look at that, and it's just weird to hear you say it. It's like, well, if you get sacked, you'll have to have an interim manager. I'll do right at that. Maybe I could get the job. You're right. You do have to figure that.
I've just come in.
Yeah,
I wasn't part of the OG backroom staff. So
give me some more time.
Yeah,
but this Ineos could be like, mate, tell you what, we'll just flipping absolutely batter it and just say, you know what, all of it's gone. Rip it all up straight away. With it all gone, including you, Ruud. But that's pessimistic. Hopefully, like you said, comes in and actually we just start turning it around in general, and he's part of a new look. It just all depends on, like you said, does he just want to be have a new opportunity, a whole new opportunity whereby he could be the number one guy and start making his name in England. Do you know what I mean? If he has to start in the Championship, then so be it. Is he maybe thinking, I'll tell you what, there's a few teams that have come up, the teams that have come up, or a few teams that are a bit unstable in the Premier League. It always happens. Someone loses their job in the league. At least a couple of people do anyway. When the teams down the bottom start panicking, or mid-table teams start panicking because they're near the relegation zone. Look at Palace. They did it. Does he think I could nick a job in the Prem, like, of someone who might change halfway through the season? So let me just actually stay as I am with no job. Or the coaching staff one is, because they talk about gardening leave and all that shit. Mr. Jim don't even like it. But does he go, actually, maybe I do take the number two job? So, put into my clause, if someone comes in for me, can I go there? But Man United might be like, well, we don't want the instability of sort of you go after 6 months. So I don't know.
But this is also the part of it. And again, this is why you're kind of waiting for more details about it. Is all we know, according to that report from Romano, is that Ruud van Nistelrooy has been approached to join the backroom staff. Now, what his role would be in that backroom staff, who knows? We've already got 2 assistant managers. We've already got Steve McLaren, Mitchell van der Gaag. So would Ruud van Nistelrooy coming in,
striker coach?
Would he be a striker? Because that's when you go, well, like, again, because it's one thing to come in as like the number 2. It's another thing just to come as just.
Yeah.
I'm just going to replace Benny McCarthy. But then
maybe
at the same time,
that might suit him, because then he's like, well, no disrespect, like, I am just a striker coach. So it's like, if a job does come up, I can be like, right, I'm off. I'm taking this. But then if you're trying to stay in the loop for jobs and you drop down to just a striker coach, I think that's too big a gap. I think
exactly. There's one thing to go, oh, he was PSV manager a year ago. Like, would he want to become a member of the backroom staff, like assistant manager? But then would he want to become a striker coach? That's an even more peripheral member of it too. So you go, oh, but then if he was coming as an assistant, logically, then one of the assistants' role, either they go or that changes. Like, what happens then? So there is still quite a few questions involved in all of this. I think, look, top line, I think it would be really shrewd business by Man United. And I think if they would be able to pull it off, it'd be a really welcome addition to the backroom staff. I'm incredibly biased because I'm a big Ruud van Nistelrooy fan from you know,
Oh,
being
what a guy.
a kid. I mean, and
What a guy.
look, he won Premier League title at United, won FA Cup at United for a period of time there over like 3 or 4 years. He was a machine of scoring goals in the Premier League, an absolute machine. To the point that I think because of the success that followed, that predated him, like late 90s. Because remember, he came, what was it, 2000, 2001? I think around that time. Yeah. And obviously he was going to come a year earlier, but he hurt his knee. So because of the success of the late 90s and then the success that kind of followed him with that sort of 2007 to sort of 2008-9 team, not that he gets forgotten, but there's a lot more noise about the other players. Because, of course, when he left, it was like, well, Rooney's here now, Ronaldo's here now. I think they just signed like Luis Saha, and it was a bit like, oh, is he on the way out a little bit?
Yeah.
Like, what's kind of happening? And of course,
when he didn't start the final.
Yeah, exactly. We did go on to huge success. And so it's not like he's forgotten about, but he's kind of, maybe it doesn't get talked about enough. The fact that he was a machine, like a machine of scoring goals. It, like every game, it was at least one. People, try maybe put down as going, oh, he's just kind of in the box. I remember the goal he scored against Fulham where he ran the pitch, literally ran the whole pitch, put it past the goalkeeper. I mean, just a top player and top goal scorer. So I'd love to see him back involved just at Old Trafford in general. But also, like you said, for me, it's not just a job for the boys situation because he's a good coach. He does. He's done well at what he's been involved in previously. So that would be, and again, considering he's linked to managerial jobs, for him to end up on the coaching staff, you go, oh, that's a bit of business there by Manchester United. So I hope it happens.
Just obviously when just pulling up his stats just to bit of nostalgia because it's just important to do that sometimes when you get the opportunity, especially with players as good as him. Like you're saying, which we knew already, but when you see physical numbers, it's an absolute joke. Like I'll start like lower down. Like his Champions League record. Remember, for a while he had like the record. He's like,
for the most goals in the Champions League.
Yeah, 73 games he played in the Champions League. He scored 56 goals. La Liga didn't even make 100 games, just under 96 when he went to Real Madrid. 96 games, 50 goals. Eredivisie, obviously when he was at PSV, 98 games, 75 goals. At United, and it's just the Prem, 150 games in the Prem, 95 goals. If there's younger viewers watching, but you don't quite remember, a bit before your time, but you've seen some videos and you know that he was good. Good is just an understatement. FA Cup, played 14 times, scored 14 goals. Like Bundesliga, played 36, scored 12. Like it is whole flipping Man United career, right? He played 219 times, scored 150 goals.
He was.
Do you know how insane that is?
He's a machine. And at one point,
and then his whole career, he's played striker 326 times and scored 225 goals.
Yeah.
Jesus.
And at one point in the Premier League, again, these records have since been broken. But at one point in the Premier League, I think he had the record for the most goals scored in consecutive games. Like he basically showed up and started smashing records in all of these competitions. Easy. It was insane. Also, Flex, I can press the button because we've got some breaking news.
Breaking news.
Now, the breaking news coming this morning is coming from Sky Sports News, and they are saying, breaking, Manchester United are in talks with Joshua Zirkzee's representatives after making it clear they are prepared to meet the Bologna forward's €40 million release clause. So Sky Sports News, and you could say, look, slow sports news, blah, blah, blah. Is that kind of similar, reporting that's been out there for the last few days? I suppose to an extent, yes. But the fact that Sky Sports News are putting it out there means that whoever their reporters are, this probably actually comes from Darmesh, most likely. Darmesh, that means they probably picked up the phone to Manchester United and gone, right, so Joshua Zirkzee, then you're going to meet release clause. And they've gone, yeah, we're in talks with the representatives. We're happy to meet the release clause. That's what we're going to be looking to do, blah, blah, blah. So according to Sky, that one has definitely got legs to it. The only thing that is quite interesting over the last maybe day or so is the line that you get quite a lot when there are major international tournaments, which is, well, fully focused on the international tournament with the Netherlands right now. I'll sort out my future afterwards. So despite maybe Manchester United meeting that release clause, maybe there's still going to be a bit of delay, maybe.
Yes, interesting. I mean, like we say, I know people say, "Yo, Sky," but I'm bored of kind of saying it. But the truth of the matter is for them to go so big on stories, like I say, it has to get vetted for a lot of people, and they can't piss the clubs off. They can't do it. That's why they are slow to a lot of stuff, or slower than a lot of people to the stories, because they've got to do so many checks and get through to the club before they actually get the go-ahead. So, yeah, someone's given them the go-ahead from United for that story. Doesn't mean we're going to sign him. Still don't know. Doesn't mean the deal's done. No one's saying that. No one's saying that it's signed, it's sealed, it's delivered. He said yes, it's this, that, and the other. He's just talking to representatives, which, brings us into our striker chat, really, from one old school striker who doesn't play for us anymore, who was just an amazing player, just, to a young up-and-coming. He could be the next Rude.
Maybe they'll be working together, two Dutch guys. You know what I mean? Maybe that'll be the case. It's written in the stars, Black. That's what's going to happen.
Written in the stars. I said it a good while. I'm not going to pretend on this one. I'm not going to pretend and hype up things that I don't know.
You watch them every week, haven't you?
No,
come on, Flex. You're being very sort of modest here. Joshua Zirkzee inside out. You watch him every single week with Bologna. You've been back and forth to Italy every week with your Bologna season ticket. That's what you've been doing. You don't have to be modest between all of us friends here this morning.
Okay, well, I'm glad. To be fair, I'm glad you guys, are happy with that. I was going to say that. Yeah. That's exactly. I do know him. Watched a lot on him. Here I'm going to throw a couple of cliches and buzzwords about. All right.
Nice.
Yeah,
nice.
It's good. It's good little player. Good little player. Good with both feet.
Mm-hmm.
He got good touch. He strikes the ball well. Yeah. He's quick.
Yeah.
Scores physical goals as well. Scores goals. Knows where the back of the net is. Scores goals. Yeah. Good link up man as well. Can knit the play together. Press resistant. He's press resistant. And so I really do like him.
Good personality.
Good character. Give him that. So he's there. He's on these exactly
Netherlands international. Netherlands international.
He's in the squad.
Yeah, he's in Netherlands international.
So he's got a bit of experience now. So it's so we was Bologna. It's had a quick look. They played 38 games last year. They played 38 games in the league.
Bologna, Bologna had a good season.
Mate, finished above Roma, mate. Finished above Napoli. Them clubs are massive. So I'll tell you what. If he's playing for a team that's finishing above Roma and Lazio back in the day used to be amazing as well. Finished above them, mate. I mean, what can you say?
Well, you've said everything. I think you've said everything.
Said it all.
Really. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You've got a perfect profile of the player there.
And it's one of those, isn't it? I honestly don't know much about this kid. And it's like, okay, let's, we have like the same point where I've said, and Owen was saying, you can't say one thing, then you get it, and then you start moaning. I've said, use the scouting network. Let's get some sort of low cost. I mean, look, 35 million quid still, it's a lot of money. Market, but in today's market, like you said, that gets you a Nicholas Jackson. It gets you someone who's raw. That's what Højlund should have cost the first time. So, it seems like, well, we're certainly going after him anyway. So we're going after. I think we've known for a while when we're saying what's our preference of what type of striker do we get? The older one, the one who knows what the goal is. No, we're going young. We're trying to make this whole team younger. Find the next gem, the next Mbappe, the next, Jude, the next Vinicius, all of that, what Jim's been saying. Not saying that. So you're saying Joshua Zirkzee is going to be
safe. Is that what you're saying? Jesus. Is that what you're saying? Flex said, you do know him well.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. But it does show us we're going after that sort of young, up and coming striker. So
do you think it's the price though? Do you think it's the price? I think the price does play a big part in this, in the sense of we saw last season, didn't we? Like, we're going for a striker. They're young, haven't scored a huge amount of goals. You end up getting quoted, 60+ million quid, which we don't really have to spend, or ideally we wouldn't have to spend that amount this summer for a striker that might not even be first choice because we've got Rasmus Højlund. So I think if the opportunity presented itself like it has here, and they've gone, well, we can get a striker that did all right in Serie A last season for 35 million quid. Yeah, and it can be quick because it's release clause. All right, let's get that done then. Let's get that done, because otherwise we're going to find ourselves in a position where, once again, we're negotiating probably a more expensive transfer than we would like. So I think that the price, does factor into this one quite a lot. Whether or not he's going to be, starting, whether or not he's going to be, 6 months later, we'll be like, well, bench striker. That's what we're kind of looking at. I just live for the day that we have the luxury flex of having a match day squad regularly, and we go, we've got 2 strikers in that squad. Big Manchester United, we've got 2 strikers. So we definitely need the options. And look, and also this one's not a sure thing in the sense of there are other suitors. There are those reports about his agents, looking for a huge agent fee. I mean, it's one thing to activate the release clause. It's another thing to get the deal done and over the line, isn't it? So you would still think maybe this one's got a few twists and turns. I mean, you'd like to think, wouldn't you, that activating the release clause is like the last thing to do. Like you would have done all the other stuff first. Oh, we've done personal terms. We've already had the sign off on the agent. If you activate the release clause, he's going to be coming to you. That's what's going to happen. You would like to think that is going to be the case, but still, you never know, do you? You never know with football.
Yeah, no, you don't. But £34 million, it's relatively low cost. It's within, like you said, the stratosphere that we need to be in financially to what we need to do. And it would demonstrate as well, sort of not going out there and doing something stupid. Yes, he's a bit of an unknown entity, especially at this level. But if you are going to go and get someone that's a bit of an unknown entity in that regard, then the price should reflect that. And that was exactly what we didn't do with Rasmus Højlund. And listen, I'm happy we got Rasmus. I like him. Do you know what I mean? I think with it all said and done, with a lot of barren spells where he couldn't score and stuff like that. When you look back at it as a whole, with what he had to contend with in the team that he was in, with literally no help whatsoever, young kid, I think he done well. I think he done really well. But the problem is halfway through when this kid was really struggling, a lot of us, and rightly so, were just 70-odd million, Jesus. And I know, look, in 3 years we may not care. We might say that's a bargain because he might be that good. But in this period, it's really hard to get your head around those types of fees when we're still so far off it. We're still so far off being a good team, and you're brandishing these big transfer fees, and we're not getting any better. You've got this kid, and you've thrown him in the deep end. Most of the time, he's drowning. He can't keep his head above water. He's struggling, no help, and you've paid 70-odd million for him. And we saw in the lead up to the Rasmus Højlund thing how the price was just going up and up. Atalanta wants 60 million. Oh, Atalanta want this. And I remember doing a video going, well, we ain't paying that, so that deal's off. And I was like, how did we sanction that deal?
Initially it started off like the value was like 40 or something, wasn't it? It started off, and then it escalated and it snowballed. And again, this is when I go back to, I think we as fans, we need to be careful. Do we really mean what we're saying, basically? Because to get back to the point where we can effectively spend 70, 80, 90, even £100 million on a player that's worth it, we're going to have a couple of windows where it's a bit like, actually, we don't really overspend this time around, and we don't really spend that much and all that kind of stuff. And we look at last season, like you said, with Rasmus Højlund, and we go, that was a lot of money. And then fast forward 12 months, we're like, we've got to be spending money. We've got to be spending big money. And it's like, well, maybe we don't actually, this is lower cost. And if it doesn't work out, hopefully those doing the contracts would give themselves enough wiggle room to be like, well, if it doesn't work out, we can effectively get rid of this player after a year or 2 years. What does Omar Barada say? If it's 2 years and it hasn't worked out, then we can move them on. We're not kind of hamstrung by what we would have been previously. So again, we have to be, I think, as fans, careful what we wish for. We ask for, let's be smarter in the market. Let's walk away from big deals. Let's not give out big contracts. And then when we are going for players that are a bit lower cost and going to hopefully be a lesser contract in terms of a salary, we then can't freak out in the sense of, look at these other clubs going for big names. Look at us going for people that, he's at the Euros now with the Netherlands. We can't even get on the pitch. He's not even that good, or is he young? And we still need more. We're always going to need more. Like, there's a lot of surgery in that team, but to get back to the point where we can effectively, buy players, big players, the best players, we've got to kind of put ourselves in the position to do that. And that's going to take a while. That's going to take some time. And that's why I was happy. I suppose this still could happen, the Brantford one. But once those numbers came up about the wages, that's when I kind of started looking at it going, I mean, are we really doing this again? It'll be fascinating to see if we do sign
what
Xerxes,
it actually is.
what happens with the wages of that. Whatever comes up, we give him 200K a week. You'd be like, excuse me?
Well, again, why? Surely not.
Yeah.
No, big up to Minna. She says, great to finally catch a stream for the first time in a week. So big up to Minna. She's in the chat. Hope you're doing well. Mr. K says, Owen, next season we should try and beat Arsenal home and away. I hate them. I know Flex will disagree, but we should. No, I do not disagree that we should beat Arsenal home and away. Mate, I'd love. Do you understand what that would mean for me? Personally, that'd be unbelievable. Mate, you know how many times I hate going to the Emirates, and I'm always like, what's the point? We never win here. We can't win here. It's so not like, mate. Absolutely, we should be doing that.
And also, again, I don't know if that should be a specific aim. I think we should aim to beat everyone home and away. I don't. You know what I mean? That's just
only Arsenal home and away.
Yeah, well, you know what I mean? It's just like we should aim to win every game.
Is that a picture? Oh, it's a picture of me touching the goalpost at Brighton. Bloody hell.
Oh, that is a throwback, isn't it?
That is a throwback. If you know, you know. We've done some mental things here on this channel.
I know.
When you actually think of it, like, how's that happened to me? How's that happened?
Yeah, got powers, isn't it? That's what it is.
That is mental.
But it's all right though, because KG's apologized for those kind of jinxing powers. You know, took him a while to get there. You know, took him 9 months.
Yeah, the cheek of him. Well,
I couldn't believe he brought that.
What? It wasn't until
I didn't know that was the time period either. When
that's what I'm saying.
Your face was a picture. You dropped and went, it's been 9 months. 9 months. Excuse me. And you know when you've got him and he goes like this, he goes, yeah.
He's the worst, honestly. And this is what I mean about him. I told him, step out of the darkness and come out of the darkness and step into the light, my friend, because you are just showing yourself for what you truly are. Moving the goalposts, hypocritical, say one thing, do another, set the rules, break them. Like, unbelievable. Yeah, but even I apologize to you for that thing, that Odegaard thing. Yeah, mate. 9 months later. So by what you're saying is, I've got 8.5 more months to come to you on a personal and apologize for this poor Eric Ten Hag take that you didn't like. I just didn't apologize enough for your liking. Yeah.
Honestly. Shall I try calling him and go, Cage, man, Cage? Shall I try it now?
Yeah.
If he answers. I mean, he might be watching. Sometimes he is, sometimes he isn't. Let's see.
Yeah.
He probably won't pick up. I'm not confident.
Probably still sleeping.
He's not very well.
Yeah, he's finished.
No.
Welcome to the O2.
Wow. I tried, tried to call and say, Cage, just want to check in, see how you're feeling. And he has got the flu, so hopefully he gets better. I didn't even want to do that on Friday when I saw he was ill. I was like, because I want to have a healthy sparring partner. You know what I mean?
He did. Yeah, but I'm sorry, mate. He went in that hard that unfortunately, if you get ill, you still got to hold that. So, you know what I mean?
And also, I was thinking about that just in general. I thought, because he was under the weather and I felt a bit bad. And then I realized, wait a minute, he started it. He called us out of the blue. we were past the Ten Hag stuff. That was last season.
He brought us back
out of the blue. Yeah.
He brought us back there. So there you go. Right, we've got 455 likes. We can keep pushing, guys, because we have got 1,700 people watching on our way to 2K. So come on, get involved. 455. Let's get to 750 minimum. Let's get to 750. I know we could do it. Get your members chats in. Get your super chats in as well, guys. We'll get those read out for you instantly. So if you would like to get involved in there, and of course in the regular comment section, get involved and have your say in the community. Right, we've covered Ruud van Nistelrooy. We've covered the breaking news. Now it's time for Jonathan David interest.
Yes, this comes from Ben Jacobs, who said that Manchester United are interested, but so are a lot of clubs. He says Chelsea, Spurs, Manchester United and West Ham all considering a move for Lille striker Jonathan David, who is expected to be available for just, get this flex, 25 to 30 million euros. Now, Spurs have had David on their radar for a year. Chelsea discussed David during Graham Potter's spell in charge. Chelsea are also in discussions with quite a lot of people at the moment in the transfer market. But again, seemingly he is set to be going. I know, like you said, Flex, that's the name that kind of comes up quite a bit. Not necessarily just Man United, just in general. Jonathan David's for the last couple of years name has come up, but he's in the camp with Lenny Yoro in the sense of he's got a year left on his contract. And I think the Lille president came out recently and said, yeah, them two are going to be leaving this year because they've got to get a transfer fee for the player. If we could pull that one off, I mean, we're talking about, you know, cost-effective numbers, 25 to 30 million euros for a player that you know has scored goals from the French league.
Mate, he's only 24.
Yeah, that would be something.
I thought because he's been linked with us for so long, I thought he was a lot older. Do you know what I mean? I thought it was a lot older. But you're getting someone who knows where the goal is for sure. You know, in Liga, he's been a regular scorer, a regular contributor.
Do you know him really well? I get this. This is what you're doing, Flex.
He's really quick, both feet. You know, he could play a variety of positions. Could play comfortable coming off the left, comfortable playing on the right, comfortable through the middle, comfortable just off the striker. Good with his head.
Yeah,
good with his head. But no, Jonathan David is someone I have seen. Like I said, over the years that we've been linked with him, I've seen a few games here and there of him, whether it be in the Champions League or you catch a League game. You know, like he is someone I have actually seen a couple of times, but not week in, week out to be like, listen, he'd smash. I'm telling you now, I just know he'd smash it for us. But in terms of his pedigree and his goal scoring record, just that alone, and that price, that would be amazing. But I think if we're getting Joshua Zirkzee, I don't know if we'd get Jonathan David as well. I mean, that would be good because he can play across the front. He can.
You would think it would be if the Zirkzee one falls through, wouldn't you? You would think it would probably be that one. And maybe the fact that, you know, the Zirkzee one's maybe a bit more advanced is maybe United feel they might not win that Jonathan David race, as it were. And also, actually, we've got to be quite cautious with this. At the same time, you know, that, you know, Manchester United are all linked with every player, and we always go, well, just because we're linked doesn't mean we're actually in for them. So don't freak out when we don't get them. This might almost be the reverse effect, which is actually Manchester United putting out there that they're interested in Jonathan David, just to kind of play across when they are in these real negotiations. Go, no, we've got other options. We're looking at everyone. We've got other options. We're checking everyone out. So yeah, we're interested in Jonathan David, and then that kind of maybe puts a bit of pressure on the Zirkzee deal. Going, hey, United could walk away from this one. They absolutely could walk away. You know, you never know with that. Whereas in the reality, they've got their sort of top priority targets, but they want to make sure that they're involved.
If we were stacked like that with like David, Zirkzee, and Rasmus, you're starting to look again. That the whole front line would be completely different with those types of players. But like you said, we're not going to get them both and be. We're not going to put our positions in terms of being bloating out the squad as well, where we've got too much.
We need to get a centre back and left back.
Anywhere.
We bought two strikers.
No, it's not. That's certainly going to be one or the other. I can't see us sort of going in for him as well. Let's wait and see how the Zirkzee deal develops. But we will speak to some people in the know about how good these types of players are. So instead of getting me saying, tell you what, good with his head, Owen saying, it's quick, you know, strong, good with both feet. Instead of just those little buzzwords, we will speak to some actual absolute experts in these fields when it comes to players on the continent for sure. So hold fire for that content coming at you, and I'll include all these types of players that we've been linked with and are talking about, really, to see what's going on with them. Where are we at? We are at just under 1,700 people watching, which is great. 506 likes now. Keep pushing, guys. Keep pushing. Big up to DJ as well. My guy, our guy, says already there's a shift in how we're operating, which is a positive, but let's wait and see. And a lot of people are like that, innit? A lot of people are like, I like the targets we're going. I like the players we're linked to. I like that, you know, Sir Jim's quite front of house, quite vocal, and, you know, a lot of these interviews and saying things as they are. We are seeing, like DJ says, we are seeing us operating in a different way, which is good. But we still, again, till the window slams shut and we see how the squad looks, where we can actually judge the window out of 10. Of course, we don't know yet, but the early signs are still positive.
It's funny, actually, it's a mixture, isn't it? It's a mixture of some are optimistic, Some are reserved, shall we say? Maybe is the better way to say that. Some are reserved in the sense of like, well, you know, I'm hearing good stuff, but we haven't bought anyone yet, you know, and I know it's still early and the Euros are on. And then you've got other people that are actually maybe a bit closer to freaking out going, well, you see what's going on with some of these players. You know, there are some signings happening now. And we didn't get Elise, even though 3 weeks ago we said he was a priority. Now suddenly he's gone somewhere else and he should have been a priority. What's going on with that one? And then, as you mentioned, then there's some sort of going, well, actually, just maybe in years gone by, we'd be going like, well, we're going to spend 80 million on this one player that we don't actually really need all that much. Is that really the right thing for us to do? So there's a mixture. And naturally, as football fans, we're impatient, aren't we? But you're right. When it gets to the end of the window, that would be the time. Well, maybe not the end of the window is the right one. You kind of know how the windows go in a week or so before the sort of window closes, doesn't it? You know, or once the sort of season started, you start going, this transfer window's not been that great because first game of the Premier League season, we got F all people here. Like, what's going on there? Flex is muted, of course. You know, it's dynamite.
Or exactly. Or when you get the first couple of people and you're like,
why have we got a bit like last season, I suppose, isn't it? When you go Mason Mount, it's like
I really hope that he turns it around. You know, well, there's not even anything to turn around. He's just injured. He hasn't even played properly. I just hope he's injury free, and then becomes an integral part of the squad, and we can like really see it. Obviously, jury's still out. Who knows? We still don't know what the plan is, but yeah, I just because that one there, like you said, with the amount of injuries he had last year, and you're right. If he has any more this year, the patience isn't going to be there, man. Really, really isn't.
Yeah, patience isn't even
big outlay,
people already. You know what I mean? It's people are already, the knives are out, and some of it's justifiably right. I think in the sense of look, it's not Mason Mount's fault he's got injured.
No, of course not.
But there are people that are like, well, football's a cutthroat business, you know. If it's not working out, it's not working out. Sometimes you've got to know when to cut bait. And when it comes to him, this season, it's got to be, not only is it got to be a good one, but it's also got to be one, like you say, free of injury. Because even towards the end of the season, like it's one thing, isn't it, of like, almost like a Malacia where it's like, he effed up his knee. Like it's the same injury the whole way through the season. What are you going to do? But it's another thing when it's, okay, you had an injury, come back. What's this one? He's out again. Is it the same injury? No, something a bit different. I come back. Is this another one? And you go, yeah, wow, something a bit different. Like that's the issue there, isn't it? So, yeah, I mean, if he can get that sorted, then it could be like a new signing because he barely played for his last season. But when it comes to the transfer window, yeah, I would say in about a month's time, end of July, we'll be looking at it going, okay, all right, what have we done here at the moment? Where are we at? Season's not that far away. We obviously we're playing in the Community Shield this time round 2. So you'd be hoping that there's at least a couple of new players involved in that, and they've already been heavily involved in the tour. So whilst probably the more appropriate time is to judge a transfer window once it's shut, you can start judging it about what, two-thirds of the way through. You can start having a look, can't you? Going, okay, where are we at? What's the timeline? What's the timescale here? About it. And that, I would say that's something I have learned because I was a big advocate in Ten Hag's first season. I mean, we took a long time to do it. And I was like, wow, look, wait till the end of the window, let's see all this kind of stuff. And then we know how that window turned out. We end up overspending a lot. And we're still feeling massively. We're still feeling the ramifications of it today, aren't we? So yeah, I don't know.
We need that preseason. I mean, the preseason's like when Eric said, this is the time where, you can get on a training ground and really start getting into some stuff because let's be real, right? Once all this dust settles, like Eric's under a lot of pressure. Like he's got to deliver. Like he's got to deliver on a lot of stuff. I'm not saying it like it's a shock. This isn't a surprise. Like he knows this. We think it. We want it. We know it. The style of play and how we build up, how we play football consistently, especially if he's got his players fit. Mm-hmm. We have to start seeing that. Obviously not instantly. I'm not going to say in the first 2 games of the season, if I don't see back-to-back wins with, playing absolute Barca-esque football, it was the wrong decision. I'm not saying that. He has to get the whole season to see, And also we are getting in new players as well. Someone like Joshua Zirkzee is going to be his first, if it is him, first season in the Prem. He's young. We still have to have these levels of not composure, patience with new things. Ineos are still finding their feet. Dan Ashworth, Omar Barada, Jason Wilcox still getting their feet on the table, etc., etc. There's a lot changing. So we do need to allow, like I think KG said it in the Trinity like that, we've pressed the reset because Ineos are new, but Eric's time is still kind of going, but it has got a bit of a caveat because he's working in a way that's different. Players
are different again, but it hasn't. You know what I mean?
His original plan, he might have had to sort of detour from it now and go, I'll tell you what, I'm going to have to be a little bit more, you know,
because someone's telling me I've got to do that.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Because you get Jason Wilcox go to him, mate, don't do that anymore. You know what I mean? Let's change. You gotta get results. So,
and we're not saying that like he doesn't have a voice and he's sort of this puppet who's just going to do doing everything that is told to him, but like it has changed. So, but that taken all into account doesn't just give Eric a pass of like, well, it's all changed now. So we have to start seeing some stuff. But again, most importantly, it is results. But the results are harder to judge. Progress is harder to judge if just the results are good and we're just nicking games because they're end to end, but we just outscoring teams. That won't make you feel like, we're going in the right direction now to challenge and get. It won't. The thing that will make us feel better about watching us is like the style of play. Are we imposing ourselves more often than not? Do we create the same type of chance? Do we build up in the same type of way? Are we playing in a way that before the game even starts, I know what we're going to do? That's the things that if you get that, the results will come anyway if you do that, because then you buy the right players, they will come. It's if we're still scattergun like, okay, well, we were under the cosh for like 15 minutes there. Bang, Rashford just cut in and scored. We won 2-0 in the end. But and I'm not being miserable here. I'm not trying to get pessimistic before the season started. Someone's like, oh, you're at it again, Mr. Negative. You're just saying phone calls, so you're basically saying we're gonna win games, but you're not gonna be happy because we didn't play, because at the end of the day, when we've all been there, Owen, we won. Like remember when we was we was all in the studio, us and Steph were all having an argument because Scott McTominay came off the bench and scored the winner against Villa. It was Villa.
Which ones? You know what I mean, this season. But I think Villa.
Quite a lot.
It
was the Villa one, but she was like, I don't care. He shouldn't be there. He's not good enough. But we're like, I know that, but we've literally just won. Like, what do you want him to do? Like, he's come on, he's done his job. But the bigger picture of actually what she means is like, we need better than that. Like, overall, can't rely on that.
Yeah, I think what people will be looking for, like if you cast your mind back to the beginning of last season, coming out of the preseason tour, it wasn't that positive because we played some matches and we hadn't played amazing. We played well against Arsenal in the first one, but against Real Madrid, we got pretty much outclassed and Kobe got hurt. And then we played Dortmund and we were like, we weren't that great against Borussia Dortmund. It was
terrible.
You know what I mean? And we were sort of coming into the season, we feel a bit cold, and a lot of the transfer business again was late. We got Højlund through, but he's injured, he can't play for a while. We got Amrabat final day. We've already played a couple of games here. It felt a bit cold. Then we played that first game against Wolves, and it was like, we won, but this team only got their manager 10 days ago, and they were the better team, and this was old chap. Like, it just felt a bit, everything just felt a bit off. And then obviously our second game of the season, away game against Spurs, and we were like, right, we didn't beat a top 6 team away from home last season, but now we're going to do it. And then we lost them, and actually Spurs, it wasn't even that great that day. It just felt like we never started, really, did we? And then I think the game after that was Forest, when we're 2-0 down after like 10 minutes or something, and we come back and win 3-2, and the next game's Arsenal. So like when they scored 2 in the last minute and it's 3-1. So like it just never felt like it got going, did it? You know what I mean? It was always just transfers, results, performances, and then we were always catching up, and it just never started. And I think that maybe fans would be hoping for and looking for, just when the season starts, we're going through pre-season, watching it going, are we playing better? Yeah, we're playing a bit better here. Okay, that's cool. Transfers, are we a bit settled? Yeah, we're a bit settled here. And then when that first game of the season comes, you go, actually, that performance was a bit.
It looks different.
That was a bit better. I think just the mood and the feeling, I think initially was what people would be looking for. Just going, can we just be a bit optimistic? Because we never really got the chance to be optimistic last season, because
not at all.
Because it just never started. It never started. Like with the tour, with the transfers, with injuries, with results, with performances, it never got started, did it? And I think that's maybe what people will be hoping for this season. to get going. And I really do hope that is the case, because you look at Eric's first season, there was some obviously negativity with how that season started, but that quickly did turn into, positivity, and results were going together. And we were like, actually, we're going up there in the league and we're winning games.
Everyone says there was no style of play. We were just winning games. Like it wasn't good football. Like just counter attack, no style of play. And I don't know. I think back to that first season. There were some things that we saw. We saw how reliant we were on, Martinez with how he was. We were playing out from the back. We did have inverted fullbacks. We did have a bit of a style of play.
I remember when we played Spurs at Old Trafford in Ten Hag's first season, and we were brilliant that day. And Spurs it was a Conte ball, it was totally defensive, but we dominated the ball that day and won, I think, 2-0. And people forget, again, with that Spurs team at the time, they actually started that season off all right. I think they were like third, not like a few points off the second and top, which was City and Arsenal at the point. We were like, oh, actually, this is a really good result. So, yeah, like I said, I think people will be looking at, can we be a bit more consistent in terms of our style of play? But all of that stuff, that's like 2 or 3 points down the line. I think before we get there, it is like, okay, what are we going to do in the transfer market? Are we going to be any different? Because if you're looking at the transfer window, if we operate the same as we've operated the last 2 or 3 years, then we shouldn't expect anything different later on down the line, should we? If everything's going to stay the same, we're going to be really late in the transfer market and really, delayed. That's going to affect tour and preseason. That's going to affect the start of the season. Then we're just going to end up in the same spot, aren't we?
100%.
So it's got to start off right to end up right the same way, really. So I think that's why maybe people are looking towards the transfer window going, right, can we do some business early? Can we have not just one player on tour? Can we have 2? Can we have 3 players on tour? Can we by the time tour ending, can we go, actually, we're not really going to do any more business because we've done it all? Can we do that?
There would be that. I mean, I know people, listen, we're not happy about it going into bloody deadline day, going, oh, please get us something or this, that, and the other. But yeah, that right there of just being able to close the books before, close of play, that would be just brilliant. People like Liverpool do that kind of stuff all the time. Get players in early.
Well,
don't have to go into.
Last season was quite crazy for them, wasn't it?
Yeah, well, to be fair, because the chase with the Caicedo thing, then they had to bring in quite a lot. But like in seasons gone by, so many other teams are just fine, and we're just scrimping and scramping away trying to.
Well, you've started the season so well. You go, we don't need any. Look how we started. See, we've won every game at the start of the season. We don't need any more players. What are we talking about?
A luxury.
It's fine.
What a luxury. Guys, big show. Just getting into just about 600 likes as well, so we could raise that just on the way out. Games wise in the Euros, Owen, what's the latest?
Oh, wow.
8 and 5 today, is it?
No, just 8 o'clock today. It's the final. We're into the stage of final round of group stage games. Yesterday was Group A. Was brilliant. I tell you what, lots of people really enjoyed that. I really enjoyed doing that. First ever time here, United View, we've done dual match views at the same time, 2 matches. So we had 2 timers, 2 scoreboards, flexes. We had 2 matches, 2 timers, 2 scoreboards, and a lot of drama at the end, of course, with Hungary, defending the corner, going up the other end to score. Germany looking like they weren't going to top the group, and then they score in the last minute to make sure they do top the group. Now England definitely got to make sure they don't finish second, because if they do, we're going to end up playing Germany. Oh my goodness! So got to avoid that. So
if we win, who do we play? Is it
if we win,
the third place people?
Yeah, but there's a possibility that could be like an Austria or something. So, yeah, I don't know which one's worse, really. So this evening, it's Group B, which is, that's Spain, Italy, Croatia, Albania. That's not the order that they're playing in. I think it's Spain versus Albania, and I think it's Croatia versus Italy. There you go. It's on the sidebar there. So I'll be live 15 minutes before kickoff with that one, and we can see all of the late drama again. It was good actually as well. We did big up Josh, Josh Media Graphics Guru Visual Ninja, because again we had the 2 scoreboards, we had the 2 timers, and at the side we have the live table. So as the goal's going in, the teams are moving around like this and all that. It was a
mental, absolute carnage.
Yeah.
So 8 p.m. today, 7:50 p.m. should I say?
Yeah.
Tune in for that. More and more games. If there is breaking news, as there was during this stream, of course we'll bring it to you. and let you know exactly what's going on at the club, who's coming in, who's going out, etc., etc. Scott McTominay is expected to now join back up with the squad after having his holidays, so he should be for the squad to go to America. And Ten Hag, to be fair, actually should have quite a strong squad, not just according to this article, but we kind of knew that already. I mean, there's quite a few guys who didn't make the cut. Obviously, with you look at Maguire, you look at Rashford as two, and you look at Mason Mount, who's obviously just getting fit and obviously nowhere near the England squad anyway. Luke Shaw, if you think about it, wouldn't have played a lot of football. Shouldn't even be there, but he's probably going to play in the knockouts. And knowing England, that might only be one game.
I don't think he is. They were saying that again. He's not done a training session at all.
So even that, he can't.
And
even,
that's it. Again, it's changing. It's like because like first game he was named on the bench, but he was never going to come on.
Yeah.
Now he's not even being named on the bench anymore. I think was it Faye Carruthers from Talksport was saying that when she saw him the other day during England's game with Denmark, he was limping around. So they reckon actually there's a possibility he might have suffered another setback. Which again,
Owen, I don't want to talk about it.
Well, yeah, I'm sure neither does Ben Chilwell or Mitchell. I bet they're both looking at it go, I'm fine and I'm left-footed, you know. Yeah, and then rubbish. Gareth Southgate bemoans goes, yeah, we just don't have any left-footed left-backs.
Yeah, but Ben Chilwell's rubbish. Tariq Mitchell.
But I know if they're rubbish, bring him. A rubbish person is better than someone who can't play, isn't it? Yeah. You know.
No, I don't know. Would I rather have Trippier or Thingy?
Well, you need an option, don't you?
Rubbish.
You need an option.
But they gambled and thought the option could be Shaw because he'd be all right. But clearly he's not.
Ask Manchester United how that worked out. You know, with Sergio Reguilon going back in January. You know, we gambled then.
Shaw being fit.
Yeah, that didn't work out, did it?
Honestly, absolutely crazy. Well, anyway, we'll see how it goes. Smash the like on the video, guys. Subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you again later on today for some more Euros action. Take care. Peace.